Three, testing, testing.
Test. Testing.
So glad I saw that the tables and chairs, under the tent.
Yeah.
Because it's, I'm, Chris Coffin and I are setting up the tables and chairs tomorrow, and I looked at the weather, it's gonna be 86, all the tables, I was like, oh my gosh, they're under the tent, they're right there, we just have to set them up.
They got here, and all they wanted to do is just, set it back where they were. They got here and saw that we were around behind the corner, it's quiet enough and everything. They said nobody even needs to be here, just, put the tables and chairs back, and they'll come and get it when they come and get us, so.
So when we're done, we just
stack them back up the way
stack
they're
them back.
the way they are.
pull.
Because before they wanted somebody here, and they were giving somebody was gonna have to sit here for a couple of hours and wait on them, and they said it's private, just, it's back there, just put everything back where it is, and they'll come and pick it up when they come and pick it up.
That's a substantial tent, I mean, obviously they set the tent up.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. So.
Yep. I'm ready.
I'm not a picnic guy. I like to have a cup of coffee in a shop, in a cozy little shop with maybe like 2 or 3 people and have a nice conversation. That's me. Big crowds,
Well,
I'll sit back and listen and.
There's so many people here, I don't know their names anymore. People don't know their names. Last night I had 6 guys in my house. I did shrimp on the barbecue, shrimp on the grill, and they brought different stuff. All guys, church group. It was great. Sat on my deck. The weather was perfect.
That's nice. Just a cozy little group, like that's about my limit. About 6 or that's about my limit. I mean, you can have a nice conversation, sit around. We had some friends from school, and it was just a handful of us. And even like COVID, we would they had this fire pit, set it out in the middle of the driveway, and we would all just kind of distance and sit out, and we would kind of talk loud, and we would just get together and chat and keep up.
Have you ever shown my backyard? So I've got, long story, but I've got a pretty substantial backyard that my friend Marianne said, you should put a fire pit back there. I'm not building a fire pit with pavers and everything. I mean, maybe I'll get a portable one, but it's nice and open. I could use it for cornhole, something like that. But I built this thing.
Where do you live?
North Olmsted.
Okay.
So I get to sleep in that.
That's some nice homes up there. That's some nice.
I'm just a little, it's a very inexpensive, it's 1,000 square foot
But it's
ranch.
some of these places they've got a little bit of a yard. They've got some trees, some,
So
it's not these developments where they just went through and,
this was me building the deck.
Yeah.
I've never built one before in my life. I probably couldn't do it again. So there was nothing here before. This is PVC. Really, it's like twice what Trex is. And Trex is 3 times what wood is. They're like 10 grand in materials. So that's building the deck. And that, the deck is next to a pond that I had built years before. So that's the pond. This is what it looks like now.
I mean, it's just perfect. You just walk out there, you know.
It's my little oasis, you know.
Yeah. It looks like there's some trees in the back.
I had arborvitaes that were 12, 13, well, I think they were actually 15 feet tall.
You gotta pay attention to what I'm doing and start talking and I start laughing. It's like,
Because I've got a development behind me with 2-story homes, so I had planted these, and then over the years, I've been in the house almost 20 years. And they died off about 3 or 4 years ago, so I planted another row of them. But the neighbors behind me are quiet. I got a neighbor 2 doors across. It's got a dog. When I open my back door, it barks. He's one house removed from me. And I've talked to the guy, but there's different talk to him. That's their children anymore. But other than that, it's a pretty quiet neighborhood. Lady next door to me is a retired school teacher. She has Alzheimer's. She's nice. I've always helped her out when I can. Guy on the other side of me is a single landscaper. He's got a 4-bedroom colonial. When I first bought my house, the first year after that, there was a Muslim couple that was looking at it, and because there you go, 4 kids, you know, they were a young couple, newlywed. The matriarch of the family came over and yelled at the people buying the house for selling his son a house too small. It was a 4-bedroom colonial. So they squashed the sale, and I got this single guy. It's great. He likes to do a little grass every now and then, so I smell that. And I'm sure now it's going to be worse, you know. And now it's legal. That's worse.
I did a little of that when I was younger.
Oh, you don't know this?
Huh?
You don't know my drug history?
Not the details, no.
I couldn't tell you how many pounds of weed I smoked. But besides that, I've done mescaline, LSD, uppers, downers, heroin, cocaine, mescaline, opium. The only thing I didn't do was crack because they hadn't invented it. Yeah, I've got a long standing history of drugs. I never injected anything. The heroin, I was pure. This is in Vietnam. It's so pure you smoke it. That is, of all the drugs I did, that is the most demonic drug. There's no other word for it. That drug is so different that it takes you to a place that's so comfortable you don't ever want to come out. And I was just smoking. Yeah, I'm blessed. Sober.
Just a minute or two and we'll start.
Where are we setting up? Are we setting anywhere?
How you doing? Okay, let's everybody grab a seat and get started. Next Friday, bee competition projection. Friday after that, creative competition projection. September 13th, photojournalism night. And then this crazy guy, Joe Edelman, the inverse square law. That will be a Zoom presentation. Excuse me? Okay, was there a question? For those that have registered for the summer barbecue tomorrow, remember to bring your potluck, or $15 if you're coming by yourself, $30 a couple. Potluck, bring something for 6. If you're coming as a couple, bring something for 12. Looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow, 4 to 8 p.m. SIG meetings. We are not going to have a September SIG meeting. Instead, we're going to meet August 29th, and Dave Bush is going to talk about photographing an air show in prep for the upcoming air show field trip. September 10th, Meet the Mentors. I've participated in the mentor program several times, and each one has been a learning experience. Come and meet the mentors, see samples of their work, and choose the right mentor for your interests. August 31st through September 2nd, the Cleveland National Air Show. Ticket sales are closed. Tickets were distributed earlier tonight. For the rest of you that haven't picked them up yet, you can pick them up on the 30th. Field trips, September 7th, 6:30 p.m., North Coast Harbor. September 21st, Playhouse Square District. Both of these are open to everyone. Field trip photo gallery. You guys are a bunch of slackers. I have not seen any photos for field trips. Come on, let's get on the stick. I know you've got some, and everybody's anxious to see them. Introduction to mat cutting and photo mounting. I came in the last session, and Dennis did a real nice presentation, and then everybody got a chance to try themselves if they so wished. The deal is, once you take the class with Dennis, then anytime that the clubhouse is open, you can come on and cut mats on your own. It's the honor system. There'll be an envelope out. It's $3 for a single mat, $5 for a double mat. You can't beat that price. The envelope will be there. Throw your money in the envelope. The only nights you can't come is when we're having a print competition, because we're using that room for judging.
Fall school enrollment. Fundamentals of Good Photography starts August 30th. Intro to Photoshop September 7th. Lightroom September 9th. I was looking for somebody for marketing. Right now, I just kind of took it off, and I'm going to let it simmer for a little while. I've got somebody I'm going to talk to, so right now, I don't have any positions that are needed. And then here's the famous YouTube slide. There's 2 ways to watch Friday night presentations other than Zoom meetings. You can go directly to YouTube and search for Cleveland Photographic, or you can go to the website and click on the little icon in the lower left picture. That will take you to the lower right picture. You click on live and you can watch the Friday night meetings, the speakers, and the competitions there. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Richard.
Thanks, Dave. I've got this mic here. Okay, let me get set here, and I'll introduce the night. Okay, tonight is critique night. Now, critique night, we've been doing this for quite a while. We do it every 4 months. And the format is you send in up to 3 pictures. There is no judging in this. This is not a competition. And we encourage the audience participation. In other words, if who's going to be doing it tonight are Chris Bosworth, who's out there in the audience, there he is over there, and myself, and we'll alternate. But if anyone from the audience has any opinions at all, like, no, I like it better the other way, or whatnot, this is what we want to hear. Because with judging, a lot of it is word from the mountaintop. This is what it is, here's your score, that's it. But a lot of this is subjective as well. And so it really helps when you hear a lot of people in the audience say, no, this is the way we like it or whatnot. We'll be doing this in real time too, meaning I'll put the images up, and then any suggestions you might have, if there's something we could edit, I'll actually edit it up here so you could see the difference as well. I looked through this crop already, and damn, you guys are making it hard. This is critique night. I mean, some of the pictures I look at, I try to look at them ahead of time so I know what I might suggest, and some of them were like, I don't know. This is pretty good. So I'm going to really be into like nitpicking too. So on some of these, they're just, they really look good, but you're expecting something like, oh no, this is a good picture, whatnot. So if we can find even, some of these will be really little tiny things too. But again, it's more of a fun night. It's a night to get suggestions, learn a little about what we could do to, get some of these pictures a little bit better too. And it's again for you to put your input as well. So I'm going to go through 2 pictures from each person as we start. And just to make sure we get everyone's in, we have 16 people tonight. And then at the end, if we have time, we'll go back to the beginning and do the 3rd one of everyone. So this one, everyone gets to be involved. So with all of that introduction, let's get underway with Andrew Gurroy. Now, these are in Microsoft order, meaning all the files are sorted. Microsoft sorts them automatically by first name, first letter. So we're going that way, not by submission time or anything else like that. So is Andrew here tonight? Yeah. Oh, yeah, there he is in the back there. Okay, so this is Andrew's, and I'll let Chris start off.
Okay, well, the one thing I like to point out, it kind of speaks for itself, that's different than posting things on media is, if you post something on Facebook, everybody's going to say, wow, awesome print, and then they're going to give you no feedback. So we're going to try to do some kind of critiquing that is helpful without beating you up. So what I love about this, of course, this is like a geometric, all over the place. There's just so much geometry going here, and it leads you right into the back of that picture. The lines are really strong, and it's very sharp from the closest to the camera all the way back, so the depth of field is really great. When you're not there, you don't know what you could have done differently. normally we say don't shoot at midday, but the light that we've got there, it's kind of cool that it's lighting the tables, but I wonder what it looked like if you got it when the sun was directly overhead, so that beam of light was in the middle. And that is getting nitpicky, but this is a great study in architectural form.
Right.
Really good.
Yeah, no, I just brought it up in Photoshop, that's all. No, this is, let me see if I have my correct tool here. Yeah, I looked at this and, this is a great image, and I agree with everything Chris said. It's just, everything is symmetric and perfect, there's no distortion. If you had other things I was thinking of, if you had a telephoto lens down a little more, and I was just curious, it was cropping, if instead of a telephoto lens, if we just cropped a little, that is another way, getting around a telephoto lens, looking a little more into it. Here's before and afterwards. Yeah, you're right. I mean, no, because I want to do some of the generate, expand, and things like that. There. So here is our before, which is fine, afterwards. But again, this is cropping. People will tell you that cropping is laziness, and you'll hear that, and try to get it right in camera. That is there are a lot of professionals that totally don't agree that cropping is also can be an artistic decision. So in the end, when you look, this is the way I like it rectangular, I like that. But what I was looking for is to take this out to make it perfectly symmetric if I did that. But again, this is just subjective. This is nitpicking. I think this is a great, great picture. Yeah, Andrew, go ahead.
The reason I did crop it is I really love the blue and the red.
Ah, there you go. I was cropping to take that, maybe minimize that, and you're right. You mean the blue? Exactly. I didn't see this blue on the other side. But you're right. So I think this is a really, really nice image. And again, yeah, we're nitpicking on this one. Okay, Andrew, you're making it hard. Let's bring up your second one. Okay. On this one, again, great capture. The only thing is, and this is sometimes where the judges fall short, is they say, well, you should have had more of this, more of that. The only thing that just, as I look at this, is that their heads are off to the left and they're looking left. And there's a lot of body here. I wish I could have a little more space there. But there might have been something there. There might have been a reason you couldn't. So one of the things you could do, if I just, so just how we could see how it looks. If I try an inch more that way, a little more. Oh, geez, you guys are killing me. A little more, like that. Okay, let's see what AI will do. And it'll just expand, it'll look there, it'll expand the canvas. It's not perfect, it'll give us 3 variations. There. There. Get that. But at least we could see this effect if we had a little more, a little more space there. And you could play with this. You could crop from here and try to get, maybe you say now, maybe it's a little too much space on the left. If I just give something like that.
Take a little more room on the top, so that if you wanted to put a frame on it, you wouldn't be cutting off the top and down.
Well, that's another good point. You see how this animal comes right to the top. A frame sometimes takes 1/4 of an inch off that when you put the mat on it. So if we move that up, not for composition's sake, but for just so the mat doesn't cut that off, it's a good point. And we'll see. There you go. So we'll go back to our, oh, actually, let's do our, so that's before, and that's it. It's just a little balance. You know, we're giving a little bit more. But again, at the time, there could have been a water tank sitting here or something else, or you might have been shooting fast because of that expression. And then, you know, you could only, you know, sometimes you have to shoot fast, but afterwards, you can get the vision you want. But again, that's nitpicking too. I think it's a great, you know.
Question,
capture.
what's
Yeah.
that on the leg?
So that's
It's in the foreground.
there's a plant in the foreground, and I tried to take that out, but then it messes with their legs.
Yeah. This is, you mean this, Chris, here?
Right.
It's a plant in the foreground.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's hard, and you're right, AI would have, because it's not really clear what's back there, and that would be a harder one, but,
But I
but,
tried to take that out, and then it really messes up her leg.
yeah, but you could see sometimes, just with this little generative expand, give yourself a little more composition.
So if you, again, using the crop tool, if you took the right-hand side and took that leg completely out,
Took that leg out,
yes, and you just crop right in, keep going, okay, right there.
like that? Oh, I
Right.
never thought of that.
And then expand it out the other way, just the way you had it. Give yourself a little bit more room there.
A little bit more room on that
Yes,
side?
Right.
Okay, let's see so far what we've got. That's interesting. So you've given a little bit more on the left here,
Right.
you've taken off the right with that. You're now focused more on the heads,
Right.
where the heads, which are in the 2/3 ratio.
Right,
So
which
that's
is-
interesting. So we start like that, and again, those of us who've done candids, at the time, you look at that, and this is the moment you get it. You're not
Right.
like a landscape where you have time to think, well, let me put, you get the shot when you get it. But this is one way afterwards where you can, those factors you didn't have control over.
See.
And again, this is subjective, so,
Yes. And the subject is what we're looking at.
yeah. Is your mic on there?
Yes, my
Okay.
mic is on.
Okay, oh, good, you could,
Okay.
okay. Okay,
a
good.
comment.
No, I think these are, you know, these are, as you see, we're doing minor little things, but, you know, all in all, I think these are great pictures, so, good.
What if you tried to maintain the square format? Go back to where you had more on the left, and just crop up from the bottom,
And go to a square format
square format, just bring the bottom up.
from like on here, let me see. Bring it up like towards the feet.
Just eliminate it, just get up.
Eliminate the feet
Yep.
and
Like that,
try just working with their,
see what's that.
That's pretty dynamic.
Like that better?
Yeah, that's dynamic.
I say
mean-
cropping is, to me, one of the most important things I do, because you might not have thought of this at the beginning. And in cropping, you're going to go back and forth between all these, and you never know what you're going to get. But it's always important to think about different crops, because I hadn't thought about taking the legs out or this square one. But in the end, it comes out what you think is looking best for you. You've got the capture, which is key, of these two lions. Really looking good. So it's a matter then of how you want to display it there. Yeah.
You know, I like this picture too, and I stirred a little bit because actually those feet, I did it with AI because the feet were cut off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes you show the picture like this, people say, hey, it'd be nice to see the feet, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So all their feet,
the feet are AI generated.
they're all AI generated. But when I see what you've done in that last picture, we just focus on the head, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is cropping is underrated, and you never know exactly too. But this is the difficulty in, you know, when you get a spontaneous capture like this. This is where editing could help you. So, very good. That was okay, Andrew. Go to Belinda's. Wow. Chris, you got this.
Yeah, so we're not judging, but when the judges do judge, they're looking at composition, technique, and impact. And impact, as Coleman talked about last week, is probably the most important of them. And this thing just has a lot of impact. This is what we call ICM, intentional camera movement. The colors are just awesome. And because they're fine, you know, it's obviously fireworks, it's like a, I don't know, a hard pencil drawing or something, but I really like it. It's just got great impact. Some might say they don't like it dead center, but I don't know this is kind of one of those things where I think this might look better as a square, like we talked about before. Maybe try a square crop.
Isn't it kind of square now?
Well, I would bring, so I think if we tighten it up, the left and right have some dead space that isn't really doing an awful lot.
That puts that in the middle
Okay.
there. Maybe bring up from,
Yeah. can
but I
you
like
just-
that reflection on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get rid of these since we took the border out.
Like
So,
Dennis talked about, we
there
have to
is-
leave enough room for matting it, but.
There's
yeah.
before. Well, yeah, actually, I hadn't thought of that. This is,
Would you believe that is the Cleveland shoreline from the holiday boat July 14th?
this is from the July 4th crew. That's the Cleveland shoreline
Shoreline.
with intentional camera
Wow.
movement. This is beautiful.
It is.
What I did was I was practicing doing a rack boat,
Yeah,
and that gave me
The
the
ra-
nice.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting. I think this crop is, I hadn't thought of that. And Chris is right. This is a beautiful picture as is. But since there's on this right side, there's nothing really contributing, just seeing out of curiosity, yeah, I'd love this too. Yeah, beautiful picture. That's, yeah. I have nothing more to add. Good. Okay. This was. Wow. This was, I really love this picture. I mean, it's, the first thing that hit me is it just looks extremely pleasing. This wood is pleasing. The bird is like on a diagonal. It's just like a perfect diagonal across. The background is totally, whether that's artificially done or real or whatnot, it doesn't matter. It really complements the bird well.
Was that he was against a red pine tree,
He was against a pine tree.
exactly the same color.
Uh-huh.
So I had to do something. I played with various tools to blur the background.
Yeah.
It's not so much I changed the color, maybe a little bit.
So you blurred the background. Right, so it's not that it's a replacement background, you just blurred it. Yeah, the blurring the background, that can make all the difference in the world. Again, we have no control sometimes over, this is in the wild, over what that background is. And this effect just works beautifully. It just blends in there. The only thing that I would do, contrast-wise, everything is fine. But, and let's see if I could do this. Oops, wrong one. The eye just seems a little bit like it was glazed, like there's something over it. The contrast of everything else is fine. So I'm going to see if I could just increase the contrast a little in this eye. Without, let's see. And again, just doing a crappy job, but that's, you do better at home. There, you could see how the eye is, and you could vary that a little. But just when I looked at it, bring up the highlights and, oh, just the highlight portion. In other words, just, yeah, I think, let me go to that. Properties. a little bit like that. And again, you could work on this a lot there, but again, you could see there, everything else looks perfect. I don't, you know, why the eye, just something could have been just in front of it, but a little bit there would make that pop. But the rest of the bird, everything else, it's kind of like muted. I really, really like that. I think this is really beautiful.
Richard, I'd like to see a little less headroom.
A little less headroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot up there that isn't
A
really
little less
interesting.
headroom. Because, but I like the way the diagonal is just kind of going right across there. But let's see how it is with a little, you want to see it. You tell me when.
That's good right there. And actually, I think that put the eye right in a third. Not that we have to do that all the time.
And again, crop's the hardest because you go back and forth in terms of which one you liked. And again, this is more than the nitpicking thing. Where was it? That was the other one. That's just, but beautiful image. I mean, that's, I don't know what else.
Great coloration, great coloration.
Yeah, the color, right?
Yeah,
The
the tones are
bird, the
wonderful.
wood, and the background just all kind of blend in. And it's not this contrasty thing, it's these muted kind of colors too. So I really like this. Very nicely done. Anyone else have any? No? Or forever hold your peace? This is the, okay, this was the, let me bring up, oh, who has the mic? Oh, take it away from Bob, because we're going to
Okay.
do Bob's. No, we're going to do Bob's now. Going to do Bob's, so let's bring up his first two. Okay, Chris, you've got
Yeah, really.
Bob Koleski's here.
Love black and white. Boy, there's a couple things I'd like to try, and I just don't know, because I'm a little bit. The building points to the, whether that's maybe oil storage or whatever in the back. It kind of leads you to that, but I'm wondering what it looked like if we had just the building. I don't know if that would be an improvement or not.
Oh, let's just
I-
see.
You know, because like there's two elements and it makes my eye go
Would you
back
take
and
that
forth.
telephone pole out too?
I don't know. Yeah, try it without, let's just see.
Without the telephone pole?
Yeah. Yeah, this is
No.
one of those things that's just totally subjective.
Yeah, the
I
others
just felt
give
like
it-
I was being drawn between two objects, didn't know which one to look at.
I really
I would,
yeah.
could you do a, I like to make the skies a little crunchier. Maybe put some contrast in the sky. Like maybe select the sky and give it some contrast. Because so many times we're faced with these Cleveland, really cloudy skies, but sometimes there's texture in the sky that we can bring out a little bit with some contrast.
Let's see. Although,
You could use a brush with
I'll try it.
contrast.
I'll put a
or
brush on
something.
it. I'm going to give it a, I'll overdo the contrast, the sky. Let me,
Yeah.
there's, oh, this was a hard one. My opinion, I found it hard to think of anything else. I love the way it leads to those other two structures. And I think with the sky, the fact if I made the sky any more dramatic, it would take away from the building. I just really, this is a hard one. I just love this one as it was. I couldn't find anything to do.
Can you try taking the pole out?
The pole out? Sure. You know I love nothing more than to
Oh, yes.
remove things from okay, let's use our remove tool. Okay. If we take the pole out, we got to take the wires out then. Let's see. And then I'll take the wires out. Okay, so that is with the pole.
I like it with the pole out because if it's gonna lead us over to that building, the pole kind of stops us.
Okay. As we were talking before, and I'll give my 2-second thing too, is this is not photojournalism. And so therefore, we're not representing this. This is your work of art. So if your vision was one, and the pole, if this was studio photography, you'd take the pole away, or something that was distracting too. So basically is if you had this vision of this building leading into that factory in the back, but there's nothing you could do about the pole, but your vision was the other. And again, this is art. There's nothing wrong with that. This is what you were imagining in a sense. If it was an artist, he wouldn't draw the pole. So this is, again, my personal thing is this is all art. We're not adding birds flying around and whatnot. We're just removing these things. But again, this is all personal and all what you like. I know I'm seeing the, yes, I haven't, but again, emphasize this is my view, drag out that disclaimer again as well. It's the right side. That's interesting. Right, and when you're cropping, you don't know. You'll try that and you'll say, well, this might work if I do that. And you try it, you say, no, I like it better the other way. Or I like it better with the pole in. And again, it's just up to you, or I like it better the original way. So there are lots of things you could do, but in the end, all we're talking about in this is not anything that's making it technically look better. It's just it's more pleasing to each one of us. So this is where it's just your vision. But these are some of the things that you can do. So very nice. And I think the black and white was done excellently here. I mean, it just is, I just love it. So good work. That's okay. Let me go to. Chris, this is yours.
Is this mine?
Yeah.
I thought I did the building. Yes, outstanding egret shot, and to catch a bird in flight, I don't care how big or small the bird is, to me, it's just very difficult to do. What I really like here that makes this a little unique is you can see the drops coming off the feed to know that it just took off out of the water. And that background's beautifully muted. We've got depth of field is just on the bird, and it does include all the bird. Both wings are sharp. Hit a home run, Bob. I don't know what I would do. I wouldn't change anything.
Can I nitpick?
Yeah.
Okay, this is, I agree, beautiful. To get a white egret like that and not blow out everything, to get everything perfectly exposed like that, and again, the background is just beautifully complements it. I know nothing about birds, zero. And so it shows here. The first thing I thought was that it was peeing. I thought that was, look what's coming out of the bird from the back too.
Yes.
So I was going to say I was going to remove all those little things too, so it didn't look like that. But I didn't know that was water from where he flew off and whatnot, and that's actually good, so don't mind me.
Right, okay.
But this is but if you thought the bird was also peeing as he flew, you could do that. But we're not. But I agree, this is just beautiful. I couldn't think of anything. Yes, go ahead.
But Bob, did you do select subject to get the background?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact,
The question was, the question was, did he use blur background
No.
or select subject?
Yes, and the answer is no, I did not. What that shot is, believe it or not, that's an f8. And I shoot normally 7 or 8 with my birds so that I can get tip to tip. in focus. And when I go to something lower, like in the 5s or the 4s, I wind up getting big birds with soft tips. But no, that's just what it was. And that was an early morning shot. The coloration you see on the back of the bird, that's actually the sun coming up and reflecting that golden color, reflecting off the back of the bird.
And the only color the bird has in it is the beak, which is the yellow, which matches the background. So it's just a beautiful
Yeah,
complementary set of colors.
yeah. Thank you.
Very, very well done. You make our job hard. This was, okay. Bonnie. Okay. Bonnie, you want to explain now what these first two image, can we give Bonnie wait, we'll give you a mic. So I have this and I have so you could.
This is a statue in Brook Green Gardens in North Carolina, and the mom is holding the baby, but I wanted to just feature the baby, and I tried AI or generative fill on the bottom part, but
To do what on the bottom part?
I tried to make it leafy or green instead.
Oh, you mean where the path is
Yeah,
down here?
right,
You
right.
tried to make leafy or green?
Right,
Yeah,
but it didn't work, so then,
it didn't, oh.
no, so, I don't know, it just was a bad deal. So then I cropped, so the next one shows I cropped it up to her ankle or to her knee, just to get rid of that base that she was on.
Well, that
So
worked.
it
Right,
did.
that crop up there really centers it on the baby, and you
Right.
got rid of that.
Right, and I think it looks better in black and white than in color, because the color has those spots on it, the green spots and stuff like that. So, anyway, I just wondered if there's anything else I could do in black and white to make that better. I think his right cheek is too dark, and I tried to use the brush in Camera Raw, but I didn't do it very well. And it looked like you used the brush, so it was not subtle at all. So
Let
I don't
me
know what to
see.
do.
Who has this one, Chris? Is this yours or?
That's yours, I
That's
think.
not- okay. This is a hard one because when we're shooting sometimes out in the daytime like this, in fact, let me flatten these. Yeah. When we're shooting out in the daytime, we get these just really bright areas, and sometimes they're blown out. We can see some of them are blown out here, and no amount of darkening will help that. So that is a difficult situation. If I were to try to darken that, let me just see. So you notice everything darkens, but you notice on the stomach of the baby and the hair, no matter how much I come down, there, well, see, the stomach might darken a little, but then if I try to brush that in, let's see. It could look artificial.
Yeah, that's what I found.
So that did, but
looked-
yeah, it's very difficult to do this where it doesn't look artificial when they're that much blown out like that. So that is a hard one. I think in these lighting situations, this is about as best you do, because these are metal sometimes again, and so they're reflecting light. Yeah. A radial mask over the chest area to darken it like? Okay, let me just layer, flatten, filter, camera raw, radial, over the chest area, kind of like that. And now add some what? Some grain. Oh, interesting. Okay. I will add grain. Try some texture too. Okay, and let's see what that's interesting. Yeah, very interesting, because what it's done is accentuated the water droplets more, and now you don't notice the, look at that. So create a new radial on the face. Yeah, and then what? And just bring the shadows down from the face. And maybe increase the whites a little. And blacks. Yeah, you could. So here we've got, yeah, so there are little things that you could do like this. I'm impressed what this did with the chest. So we didn't darken it so much, but those droplets have been increased texture, and so you don't notice that brightness. And the face is a little better too. Yeah. That's a very interesting technique. I had not used that before. But look at that on the mask 2, mask 1. On the chest there, that's before and after. So not so much, not darkening. We didn't darken anything, but we increased the contrast on those droplets. So now it's not as noticeable. Very interesting. I have one question on this, which is, you had said that it, on the, on this, so when you tried, whoops, I cancel that. Just open it in Photoshop. That when you tried to take that out down there, that wouldn't.
I just didn't see, it was all
So
blurry.
let's see, for everyone's benefit, because you're right, AI has limitations. It's not magic. Too, so let's just see. If we just do a down and dirty little thing here too, and we ask it to generative fill, generate. You did this, did you ask it nicely?
You know, I didn't do it that way, so that's why it didn't turn out.
You've got to ask nicely too. There you go.
Oh, okay.
And look, there, gives us 3.
Okay, that did work out.
So it did, yeah. The generative fill AI has gotten really, really well. So here it is before.
Okay, I didn't do the steps that you did,
Yeah.
so.
We'll be selling our Photoshop course after this. That's right. That's right. Tickets are right out there. But yeah, it's that good that you can do that fairly easily. So, okay, very
Thank you.
good. These have been very instructive. So, and then those, it was like, yes, Dennis.
How does doing that sort of manipulation fit in with the rules on what you can do with AI for photos that are going into competition?
The question is, how does that, what we just did, affect the rules of going into competition? My understanding is that, and we have the chairman of the competition committee right in back there as well. My understanding is that this is you can remove small parts of the picture that are not the main elements as well. So I think that would be allowable if this was 2 things. One, this would be, if this was like a person, if this was people competition, I think it would still be allowable there under that. However, if you had any doubt, it would definitely be pictorial, because pictorial includes creative, and creative is where we allow any manipulations. So if you were unsure, then you could just put it in pictorial, and it would, pictorial is an anything goes. But I think by our rules that we adopted them, moving a small thing, just like when we removed the pole before, that would still, being a small object, be allowable, the others. Dave, am I close to correct, or? Yes, I'm correct? Oh, yes, Dave says yes, I'm correct. So yeah, that is as long as it's a small part. And then you had, bringing up that, Bonnie, you had a question on this one, and that I think your question was that the
is.
flower was too close to the bottom.
Right.
And how would you expand? So this is a case where we crop the whole picture and we bring down the bottom because you wanted to get the flower complete on that. And we'll see how good it does. Let's see. Wait, let me. Let me flatten your image first because it did it on the wrong layer. Layer, flatten. Okay, now we will do that. Okay. So we'll see what it does to the bottom and whether it stops with the whether it regenerates. And there you go. It's regenerate. And we get 3 images. There's the other. And you could have it done again. But now you have the whole flower
Right.
in there.
Okay, so you do the crop, and then...
Right. Then you
and
just drag the crop
extend it.
down.
So where does that box come on for generative?
Edit, and then there's generative fill.
Oh,
is one of
okay.
them.
All right.
But, you know, this is where you have a nice picture, but you've accidentally just done that. I mean, we just do that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
This is a way to bring that back. So I wanted to use that as an
Okay.
example, since I know you had that as a question.
Right. Thank you.
So very, very nice.
What is that, to flatten it?
No, but you should use the bottom layer, the main layer, to do it.
So that's the background layer then?
Yes.
That you're using? Okay.
So this is Dave Korosek. Wow. Chris, this is
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah, great Aurora Borealis. You must have traveled. Is Dave here? He's not here. I don't know where he was when he took this. He had to be in Upper Canada or something. Because
Yeah, what about that a
Yeah.
few months ago where we had it right here on the
Yeah.
lake?
the images I've
the
seen,
other week?
I've never seen that much of the aurora from here. But yeah, that's just beautiful.
Yeah.
So something he did correctly here, and I'm no astrophotographer, but he used a short enough shutter speed that he didn't get any blurring in the stars. So you look at the stars in the upper left. I think that really adds to it because it gives it kind of a background for the aurora to be in. And of course, the tree in the foreground, with it being a different, altogether different color, kind of like a complementary. It's not quite in the complementary scale, but certainly contrasts with the green in the aurora and the lake. And I love he really was fortunate that lake is very calm because this had to be a slower or a faster shutter speed to not blur those stars. I'm not sure there's anything I would do to
wonder what
improve it.
let me go to metadata. F7.1,
Had to be less than 20
20
seconds.
it looks like 20 seconds.
Yep, 20 seconds, that's the magic number from
ISO
what I've
1600.
heard on stars. Any longer and it would have blurred the stars, so, yeah, really knows what
Interesting.
he's doing, and like I said, I don't know
Yep.
that I would change anything, because if we start playing with the crops, I definitely wouldn't crop from the left, because I like the blue, the darkness of the sky that's got the stars in there. If you're gonna crop anything, you could go from the right, but I'm fine with the way it is.
You're reading my mind. When I look at this, you're right. The left is where all the action is there.
Mhm.
The tree is beautiful, but this here is not really adding anything over on this side. And I wanted to see what would happen if I just brought it over a little, like that. Now you have the tree off center. You have the beautiful aurora. We haven't really cut off anything on the right. And it just looks balanced. See all the actions on the left there. I don't know. What is the audience? What does anyone? What do you think?
I like the square crop.
You like this kind of crop better? Yeah.
I didn't like the tree dead center.
You did like the tree dead center? You did? Yeah. And it's not just the tree dead center. When I looked at this, again, when you look at this, this is not really a dramatic sky. It's not there's not dramatic rocks. It doesn't add anything. And plus you have the tree center. So by getting rid of the stuff, now your eye is drawn more to the stuff that's meaningful, plus you put the tree off center. Try bringing up what? The bottom? How much here? I kind of like it the first, more to anchor it. That Andrew, you were going to say something?
It's a beautiful picture. I never, but since you cropped it, I would just take that orange out and that right.
Oh, the orange in the right corner here. You know, that's an interesting thing too. Your eye gets, yeah, your eye gets drawn to that, the orange over there. So this part, again, let's see. And again, you do this better at home or whatnot. But that was a good point, is our eyes are drawn to the bright thing. You might say that balance is over there, but it's something to think about. You go back and forth, but this bush here? Oh, this one here? What do you mean, trying to remove that? Let's see. Like that? Yeah, these are little things. You're right, that is beautiful. Now that looks like a regular bush there. That was it before, and you're right. It's a kind of a white area that's going off the canvas. I hadn't even noticed that. Where now the darkness is all around, all down the bottom. So these are minor things that you could touch up. Yeah. 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 So try to, let me see, so you want a little bit more, so make it wider, wait, let me, not, okay, to stretch it, you just want it stretched. You're like transformed. Okay, let me cancel this out. Try Control T. Let me, let me select and transform. Okay. Okay, image. Yeah, image. And you want me to change it so that it's, okay. $20 by 12. Oh. Okay. Come on up here, Dave. Eric. I've not stretched him before, so Eric is gonna. Okay.
20 by 12.
Yeah, we could try that. Thank you. I just learned something tonight. There we are. So we've recomposed and everything and then stretched it out a little. I was not even aware of that. Look at that. And as we go back again, so it's amazing from our original there, just working, you have all these to choose from, that, and when you, even though we stretch this, there are these objects you can't really tell they're stretched. I had a very interesting idea. I had never even thought of that. But again, it just gives you more. In the end, it's your picture. This is a beautiful picture to start with, but you could see how these little things just even, could just bring it to that next level. So, Very nice, yes.
I never saw that before. Could you go through those first?
The stretch thing was we had the image here, and this image now, if I go to image size, it tells me this is 17 by 14 inches approximately. So you can give it an artificial size, but as Eric pointed out, you don't want those linked. In other words, you don't want the proportion the same. So you click off that linked, oh, it's off now. It's off now? Yes, so it's off now. That's where it's linked. Here it's off linked. So now I could give it any proportion, such as 20 by 12, and it'll make the image that size there as well. So image size, and then as Eric showed, unlinking the two. So it's very, yeah, so you get the idea on this. So that's very, very, very interesting. So good. It's a good picture. Yeah, it demonstrated a lot of things there, so that was good. There's not much stretching we could do here. So, okay, Chris, Chris, you have the last one?
I had the last one.
Okay. I don't know, this was a hard one for me. I think the black and white is done correct, but from the angle, things are a little distorted, and I wasn't sure what the main thing I was looking at was. There's just a lot of stuff around, and I didn't know really what I could fix on this. The only thing I experimented with is if this table is really what we want to look at, maybe just crop a little of that machinery out there. And that was really all I could think of, because it is a busy picture, and I'm not sure really what to look at. If anyone has any ideas other than the cropping.
Well, in cropping, I would try taking the top down to the windowsill. If my eye wants to go to the bright from the window.
Okay, the down to the windowsill like that. Okay, and that still keeps the table. Would you come in any left of the table? Come in left, and we'll bring it about the size, the same amount on left and right of the screen. Okay, the leg is already to the bottom. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, if we go 4. Right, that is a good point. Dennis's point was that your eye is drawn to the bright areas. These windows up here just kind of draw the eye away a little in an already busy picture. So by taking out that on the top, a little bit of the desk there, we're at least more centered to these here as well.
What about
Yeah.
darkening everything that's not on the table?
Oh, so darken everything that's not on the table. So something like this, if we, what I'm going to do is, let me overdo it here. What I'm going to do is I'm drawing a vignette. So in other words, I'm painting the vignette where I want it there. So you meant something like this to something, yeah, to just accept. And if we do it, just try to do it subtly. Again, if you know it's vignetted, then you've done too much. But here, yeah, that draws you in a little, and then you could always try to add the trash can to the vignette. Okay. There we go. And I was going to just a little bit darken down maybe some of the table here. You could work on this more, but again, we start off with a very busy picture, then with cropping and that vignetting down like that. So yeah, now at least you're more centered in on the table. And if you think there's a little too much black over there, you could always go and just paint that out with. Yep. And again, if you were working this at home, you'd work more and in more detail, but you get the general idea. So it's a difficult picture to start off with because of that, but you know, you've gotten it now to something more. So, okay. That is, let's do Dave's. Okay, Elaine Joseph. This is a very, okay, Chris, you've got
Yeah.
this one.
I do, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what I'm looking at. Looks like we're at a carnival or something. Look at the lights in the bottom left. It's disturbing to me because of that head is like chopped off. I don't know.
What, is that Elaine, you have a, was
Is she
there a,
here?
or what is, oh, yeah, we have a question back there, wait. We give her the mic. What was your question, was it?
I was just asking Elaine what it was. She says it was some kind of a sculpture that she saw in some country that she was traveling in, but I was just curious where she saw this. I find it interesting.
Yeah,
It is really interesting.
Good, I'm glad we got some context.
Initially, it's disturbing, but like I think I was on the right track. It looked like a sculpture. The background looks like some kind of a carnival scene, but another country, it might have been a boardwalk, you know, for that country. I don't know that there's a lot we can do with it the way it is now. I would have liked to see more on the right, because that's so many times that's where it's looking. So we'd have to use generative fill to bring it to the right. And I don't know if I would, those lights in the background really give it some context. But can we try to do generative fill on the right side,
Okay.
Richard, and see what that does?
And here's where, audience, so you should know, this is where opinion comes in and subjective. I really like it like this, up against the, I just fell in love with this picture where it's right up against the edge there, and then in a diagonal, everything goes back to that carnival. It's like someone leading, this ghastly figure leading the way. But again, that was just my impression. Ordinarily we'd say, yeah, too much, but let's expand it out and see. So Chris, you wanted to have
On the right, yeah.
More on the right.
And if we were going to mat this, we would need more room on the right anyway, because it's
Yeah,
it's really
okay,
too
so we'll give
close
a little
there.
more room on the right and see.
Yeah, see if we can reconstruct those buildings. That'd be
Two,
interesting
so
to
let's
what it
see.
does. And the more I look at it, the more I do kind of like it, knowing that
Yeah,
it's.
I mean, right, usually we're talking too far up, but I actually like that. Oh, so, okay, here we're generating.
Oh.
That one's probably, there, so here it is. Oh, let me go, that doesn't show it well. So here is our original. That's with a bit more.
Yeah, because if we
So
mat it,
there,
we're gonna lose
so,
a
okay,
little
so we
bit.
go from there to there. It's fine.
Yep,
Yep, this is just a matter of,
very interesting.
very interesting
I'd like to
picture.
know, is that like a goddess of some kind, or an artifact, or,
But I like it.
Yeah.
This is, but here, other things that we did, and it's important in the beginning one, you see these lights here to the right, and they are, again, you have the statue, you have all black around it, but you have these Christmas lights or something, strung across there too, those are just so easy and then the statue just stands out more. So that's just a minor thing that we could just pop that out and pop that little wire out.
I think part of what makes it interesting is it's unique. It's something
Yes.
I've never seen before. And sometimes you see the same photos over and over and over again.
Yes.
And I've never seen anything like this, which makes it unique and interesting to me.
Right, it's like that impact. When it first came up, it just kind of, oh wow, it jumped out at me. So I agree completely. But again, very nice capture, Elaine. Nice to recognize this. And again, the non-photographers would just go up and take a picture of the statue. The way this is set up like this is beautiful. So good work. That is. Ah. Chris, is this yours?
Oh, it's yours.
It's mine? Okay. Okay, what will we do with this? I love this picture. This picture is great. I would like to center them a little. You know, being I have such a beautiful picture here, and they are the focus of my picture. And so I would like to, let's see, have as much room on the left as the right, which probably is up to there. Now, anyone have any suggestions what to do more? Yes, Andrew, what do you got there?
People on the beach to the right, I would take out
These?
those, I would take out, but looking down at people who live away.
Okay, you're exactly right. These people here, they kind of break the symmetry because there's nothing on the left, and if they had been over a little bit, you'd see all of them, but they bleed off the edge, and that always catches your eye. So it's easy just to kick them off the beach. Yeah, yeah. It just you now have the symmetry better. These people are right in the middle. There's beach on both sides. What do we? An inch off the bottom? This is a barber shop. Like that. Okay, an inch off the bottom. Transparent default. Up, how much? About that? A little more? Okay. Yeah, nice. Elaine, you were going to say something? You were going to say what he said. Okay, yeah. And these are the fine tuning. Again, this is getting your image. You see them sitting there. And I'll tell you, you're out doing candids, and you kind of wait one more. You always try to get one in the bag, because for all you know, in the next second, someone leans down to get something out of their bag, or someone turns to the left. You've only got to, they might stay that way the rest of the afternoon, but you don't know that. So you get your one shot, and so that whole thing of lining it up, making sure, it's not like I said, like that. So these are things, again, to keep your vision the way it was. And this is just beautiful with them all looking out like that. You were going to what? Yeah, they were cute. Exactly. Right. This is beautiful. What do you notice?
The fact that the two middle right people have no legs.
The two on the right have no legs?
Well, the three, actually, all three of them.
Well, but you can't laugh at people for that. I mean, they might have been in the ward. That's interesting. Elaine, is this, that's a very, for those of you who noticed it, I did not notice that at all. The comment was, these three people on the right have no legs. They're up on their feet are up on the rails. Yes, you could see the shadow. That is an interesting, I tell you, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, their feet are up on the rails. Very interesting shot. I love this. So, yep, very, very nice work, Elaine. And again, these little kind of things are a way of just, there it is. You captured the shot, and this is just polishing off, bringing it to that next level there as well. Dennis.
Could you make an attempt at taking out the rail completely?
You mean the whole rail?
Yeah.
Okay, Dennis wanted to know if we could take out the whole rail. That would be two things. Yes, that could be done. It would take a bit of work too. But yes, the AI generative remove would take that out and do it nicely. You'd have to contend with the shadow down there also of the rail as well. But yes, you could. It's a little bit more than we could do now, but yes. And sometimes if you have time alone, I know Brian's laughing back there, but if you have time alone at home, you can work and take each one of these rails out and see, and it might be, again, fine. Yeah, Dennis.
Yeah, just after having said that, then there'd be no place for those people's feet to go. So
Then we'd be back to our original story of the amputees. So, if we took the rail out. But I know. And, this is all subjective. And again, because Brian is there going, where have we, what have we come to in this? And I understand that too. But this is just and I'm not saying I would ever do that. I love this picture. But all I'm trying to do is empower you to do whatever you want to do. And that's just it. And if it's do none of that, that's fine too. Well, you should. Yeah, Andrew. Which one? This? Which upright? This? Okay, so you want this so it's just a regular continuation? Oh, I see. You mean the rail from here to there. Let's see. Oh, you want the post out too? No. Just the post out. Okay. So the audience wants the post out.
Not all the audience.
Not all the audience. There are some members who want the post out. So under duress, I will take the post out. Okay, I'm just kind of doing this down and dirty here. And it'd be funny if I clicked the enter button here and it said, no, I won't do this. This is, okay. Edit. Where to go? Generative fill. Okay, let's see what it does. Brian wins on this one. AI refuses to remove the phone. And what you could do on these is you go edit,
Okay.
generative fill. Oh yeah, we could just drag that down there.
If you're going to do AI in this,
Yeah.
put something interesting in the sky like airplanes.
Okay, if there are airplanes in there, then you agree. Let me just try this one thing before I give up here. Okay. I'm just using a different tool. There we go. Something like that, guys. I like it back too, only because now it just seems, I don't know. Kind of anchors it too. I mean, you could also, you can go crazy because you could then just take those off and you could leave that there for trade. But we've spent enough time on this. But you get the idea. One, you'd spend more time at home, but you do have a lot of these options again to do what you want. Okay, Eric. Okay.
Eric, snow leopards.
You have this, yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm afraid to mess with anything that Eric has done with a snow leopard. He's so good at it.
Come on.
No, I'm serious. I don't know. If anything, maybe I would the light area off to the left there, maybe tone that down.
Okay. First of all, would you, and I guess it's to Eric, because I don't know what it looks like on the side. It looks like it could, are the whites really white? Because I'm looking at the histogram too.
It's got a decent amount of contrast.
And is that any? I'm just looking at my monitor here. But the whites it looked a little bit flat. The blacks were perfect. I just upped the whites a little. You're saying what on this area over here, darken?
There, and then the horizontal part of that, say where it leads down into the
down
right
here?
There. Yes, yeah, those
just
light,
to darken
those light
that a
areas
little.
yeah, they're just a little distracting. They blend in a little bit too much with the cat.
Okay, let me see if I could.
I think all these cats must know you by now, Eric.
Yeah.
What if you remove that thing you got at the top left? Can you remove that?
Remove that?
Yeah.
Whoa. What, Eric?
Yeah, the whiskers are in there. We can't remove that.
Yeah, so this you couldn't. What about just up there? In other words, the question was, what about these? just those white areas. Let me just do a down and dirty thing there. Just to remove those lighter areas up there around the head. And so that gives us a little,
Yeah.
it separates the head out a little.
Yep.
This brings more focus to the face, I think.
Yeah, brings a little more focus to the face. So here's where we started off with. And here's, yeah. A beautiful capture, right? Everything is tack sharp focus. So yeah, so these are just minor things. And I agree with the whiskers there, you couldn't take care of that.
Eric, what lens are you using on these?
It's an R7 crop sensor with 100 to 500. And I think that was at 500. I was pretty much on the other side
Yeah,
of.
500 millimeters on a crop
And it-
sensor, 'cause that's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. This is beautifully done. Okay. Excellent. Let me- Okay, Chris, is this yours, Chris?
This is yours.
This is mine, okay. This is an interesting picture. This I found hard because she's not, this is a hard one because she's not all in it, but yet there's a little bit, it's just a hard crop with her not, you know, we've got the whole thing there. I played around a little with bringing it up, but that didn't really work. Her eye what? Your eye goes to the yellow part, right? The grass, right? That's bright there, but I was just having trouble with the amount of her. It just was, and I'm not. Yeah, it's. You're right. This is a matter of taste then too. It just was it was an awkward crop for. Try adding to the left. Okay. You mean on the left side? Just giving us a little more room there. Okay. Actually, yeah, it gives a little more context there. Now bring the yellows down. Actually, let me, there. We were just bring them down a little. And there are a number of things you could do with the color. I'm just doing a down and dirty kind of thing too. But yeah. Actually, that, a little more room at the bottom.
That and make it darker. Make the yellow spot darker.
But more room at the bottom means it would have to reconstruct.
I already added room to the bottom. I actually cut off her hand originally.
Okay, yeah, so her hands are reconstructed, which is good because I think it would have been harder without. There's no good way to crop there as well. So I think you're right. You're at the limit there for it to really, do things more. But I think toning, and there are ways you could tone down that. But I think giving whoever suggested this little bit of room to the left, I think he helped a little too. So this was a harder one. And yes.
The rope that's coming at an angle towards her instrument,
Yeah.
that bothers me.
Okay. It didn't bother me at all. That was the, it's just part of the picture of the other ropes. But let's see again if this was your picture. Just do again a down and dirty thing here. So you have that. Again, it's a matter of taste.
Is there any way to bring up the violin?
Bring up the vi,
Use the mask and
but you mean bring up the violin, do you mean physically bring it up to her face, or do you mean bring up the
Bring up so you can see it.
the violin here? Well, yeah, that's hard because it's, the violin is black already. So you're saying, what are you going to do, lighten it? To lighten it. Okay, let me, that would be, okay, so let me try that. Filter, oops. Cancel. Filter, there it is. Okay, so we'll try to, now is this part of the,
Yeah, that's her. That's the chin rest.
okay, so let's see how well it draws a mask around this. Okay, and you want to lighten it up. Let me bring up the shadows because we don't want to. It's kind of hard because you have that white, you'd have to do a lot more work. There's texture and clarity as well. This is what we've done with it. So you've separated it out from her a little more, but I think that would be a hard one. And you'd really have to, if you wanted to do that, you'd have to work on this a lot and see what you like. I don't think there's anything obvious there. But no, this was a good picture to work on. So, yep, these are not easy.
I would,
Yes.
her shoulder, I would take down the highlights a little bit.
On her-
And her face is in shadow under the hat. I would lighten her face up just a little bit.
Up there under her.
Yeah, I mean, her face is in shadow, so I would try and lighten that up just a little bit, just a touch. So.
Okay. So let's try to bring down the highlights on her arm. I'll back off on this. It's a little, and you also think she's in shadow up there?
Yes.
Okay. So if we go up here, so I'm bringing the shadows on here. It doesn't look like any shadows at all, and it's the shadow command is not lightening anything other than her hair. In my experience, where you have an area of the skin, if we darken here, everything else is going to get too dark. If I had those two hot spots there, what we found to actually work on those, here it is, to work on these is to actually select out those areas on the skin and do a generative fill. And it actually recreates the skin and the texture, and it comes out good. But to lighten or darken or decrease highlights on skin usually looks artificial. So you could spend, it would take a lot more time to work on those. But yes, that could be done to work on that skin and those highlights. So let me, very good. Gary Marich. Okay.
Wow, that's just a beautiful scenic. I really like that. I think it's a great composition. I like the diagonal, the stream going through it. We've got a foreground, middle ground, background. The sky's beautiful. He probably worked on the sky a little bit, I might think. We can work with cropping and do different things to it, but I actually like it the way it is.
Yeah, Wally?
I think if you darken the bottom very slightly, so it's like a slight vignette, that would draw your eye also into the picture.
Darken, which part?
Just like,
Along the bottom?
yeah, just like 20 inches, so just.
Let me do a little vignette. Right on. So you mean down the right part here? Let me back off on this a little. Okay. Anyone else have any suggestions? Is Gary here? Gary's here. Yeah, Andrew, yeah. You mean cropping wise? Oh, the vignette a little here? Okay, let me. Okay. Gary's not here. I thought I saw Gary. Okay.
Are the mountains the main subject?
I think everything is, the question was, are the mountains the main subject? I kind of like everything. I mean, the clouds are beautiful, the mountains, the stream coming on a diagonal.
It's like a classical landscape. Like
Yeah.
I said, you've got a foreground, midground, and background.
But I had a
You've got
question
leading
on
line
this.
with a diagonal with the stream. I just don't think I would do anything else to it.
I had,
But the sky is so much bigger than the mountains.
there's one, it's not showing up on that. I don't know if it's showing up on the sides. But there's one thing that jumped out to me when I looked at this, is at least on this monitor, I don't know what it looks like on the side, it looks really over-sharpened.
Yeah, it does look over.
And when I did that, I went down to the mountains. Look at the white line around the mountains. That's called a halo. When you over-sharpen, use a high radius in the sharpening, sharpening is really an optical illusion. You're lightening the lights and darkening darks around edges. And when you do that too much, the light actually, you'll see this around birds sometimes when they're over-sharpened. You'll see that. That's actually the over-sharpening effect, and that's called a halo. And you see the white line around the mountains.
I think we got more than that. If you can look at the metadata, we don't have a big enough file size. Look at this.
Yeah, but
clouds.
also, even with the big enough, we get pixelation. You're right, and we
Yeah.
do have pixelation, but this halo is also an indicative of the sharpening thing. Wait, let me go back to the.
Richard, what about
And the contrast, let me look at the metadata on this out of curiosity while we're here. No metadata on this, so I'm not sure what this was taken from. What about the contrast?
to me, it looks overly contrast and overly sharp.
Yeah, it's this is a beautiful. That's why I wish Gary was here. I want to ask him because the subject matter and everything. This is beautiful, but you're right that the sharpening that just kind of as you go in like that, and the file size. This is an 8 megabyte file here, so we should be displaying normally. So I'm not really sure. At 100%. And you could see, let me see. Yes, you could see the difference. And when I do it at 100% on this, 100%, it looks, you see the white halos around the mountains too. Whereas I go to his next picture, nothing like that. So it's, my question to him was degree of sharpening, and I think that's the thing that, although this is a beautiful image. No, I don't think no. I mean, if this was an original file and you can go back, yes, but no, once you send this out as a JPEG, there's no undoing of that as well. But I think, again, that the halos around the mountains, what shows that. There's another comment? Yeah.
I just have a question about how did you get the circle to just...
Oh, to do the vignettes?
Right.
There are tons of ways to do vignettes. You could do a radial gradient and things too. But what I find is kind of a down and dirty way is I just make a layer of just a levels layer, and I just choose darken like that, some degree of darkening. And then I just paint with my brush, a soft brush, and then everywhere I paint, it'll be that degree of darkness. So if I do it around there, but that way, if you could custom do it to your picture.
So the mask automatically appears when you...
Yes, when I make that levels adjustment layer, a mask automatically appears. That's just one of many ways to do that. But on Gary's, you can see the next one on that. And see here again, beautiful picture. We don't have that over sharpening kind of thing too. I think this one's mine, and I really love this too. This got back to our original discussion before about people, taking out people. Well, people give good context to an image too, and I love these two in that. And if I had to do anything, I hadn't worked with this one before. The only thing I would do is cropping wise, I would just play with the cropping to see. Again, I love them. I love this tree in the background. Probably could get rid of some, and I know there's water back here, but I just wanted to get them out of the middle. And so there are lots of ways you could play like this with this. But I like the image. I think this image is made by the two fishermen. I think without that, it just wouldn't be the same. But again, it's just kind of cropping could be, when you look at a picture, does this on the left add anything? If it does, fine. But if it doesn't really add anything, and they're kind of less in the picture then, just like with the Northern Lights, you could keep all the good things here. Right, and the sky doesn't overpower the mountain. The other thing, too, you'll find is there's a little haze on this mountain, and you could use dehaze, and I see that a lot, to dehaze it. However, as the judges have sometimes pointed out, and rightly so, is that it could sometimes look artificial then, because this is really how it looked. There is, a little bit of haze there. And if I were to take the haze away completely, it kind of maybe wouldn't look as natural. So when you use dehaze in the background, sometimes, again, you have to, it might not look the way it did in real life. In real life, the things in the distance do have a bit of haze. So I don't mind that at all, but that's a matter of taste. Yeah, Bob. A linear mask in the sky to bring down the white clouds. Okay, let's then. And you're saying something like a linear gradient for not for the mountains, but for the sky. Into the mountains a little bit. Okay, so we use that guy. And what would you like to do with it? Bring them down a little. The exposure down. Oh. Take the highlights down. Very nice. So we've used a linear gradient, so it's not anything abrupt. Very nice. And because now we notice the sky is really bright. Very nice. Excellent suggestion. Yeah, and as you go back and forth now, I see. I wouldn't have thought of that. Right, and it's just, and you're not just doing the sky where you know, get an artificial type effect with a linear gradient, as Bob suggested. It kind of blends down into the mountain. The effect is a gradual effect. So more at the top, less as we go down. That is very nice. Yeah. Just the sky? I didn't select the sky. Oh, you want to see what the mask looked like? Like that? To do a select sky. Okay. You want me to do a select sky. Okay. Turn that mask off. Do a select sky. Okay. Now you notice that gave us a little, I could get that out, but it's given us a little into the mountain too. And you want me to do what with it now? Exposure, down a little on the exposure, and down a little on the highlights. Like that. Oh, yes. The comment was the gradient before darkened this dark mountain area, whereas the select sky doing the same adjustments didn't darken it. So you see there are multiple ways to achieve these. Each one has a little, sometimes a little bit better. No, you see, there is some. Now, you can. The select sky, you notice some of the mask bleeds into the mountain. However, if you didn't want that, you could just take and erase that part in the mountain, too. So it depends on what you want. If you look at this and say, okay, I want to get it off that mountain completely, you could do it. If you say, oh, that actually doesn't make a difference, it looks good here, you can keep it. Right. Very, very good. Excellent suggestions. Good image. Okay. Let's then move on. We have Gary's. Okay, Chris, this is Gary Wood.
Boy, that's really, that's still unique. We're used to seeing the dewdrops. We got so many things going on here. We got a nice foggy morning, dewdrops on the spider web, but we've got an out of focus bird right at the eye of the spider web. I don't think he's caught. You did no manipulation here. You just positioned yourself so the bird was.
So you
right
positioned it so the bird was like that. It just happened like that.
No,
Beautiful.
no, you did. You meant to do that. Come on now. You worked really hard.
Yeah. The bird made it because that's what I saw immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, you were.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm feeling like a broken record. There's not. I mean, these are such excellent shots. I think it would be. We could play a little bit with cropping, but I like it. It's right in a rule of thirds where it's positioned. If we do anything with
I'll take care of everything.
Any kind of manipulation on exposure, we're going to mess with that fog, and I like the feel of the fog. So I'm content with it the way it is.
I love the fog with that spider web. It's kind of a creepy feeling.
Yeah, the fog is. Yeah, I'd just say he likes the fog. I agree. You could talk about toning down and whatnot, but that's all the mist, the eerie effect too. I like this. And I don't think, let me just for my pure curiosity, I'm not saying anything. I'm just trying to take a little off the right, see if that would make a difference.
You notice that bird is right in the rule of thirds.
Okay, here is, we shoot this time, or we keep it, because this is the format of our camera. In other words, that's the way this comes out. But you're not beholden to that when you look at your final image. So if this is what the camera has gotten, because that's the format of it, you don't have to keep the, so there, that, because again, it comes down to, does this, other than positioning in the picture, if something puts something in the rule of thirds where you like or whatnot, that's fine. But the other thing to consider is this really on the right here, this inch on the right, adding anything? Or would I like to draw myself into the picture more? And you experiment. I mean, you're not centered there, and we're just a lot more, so it's just, it's up to you. Yep, and that's fine. I think it's purely just yeah.
It's a great picture, and you're really, really nitpicking, but above the bird, you see that branch with the bifurcation. So if you see a lot of things going up, you don't see the bifurcation. So
Oh, you mean this one here?
it's really nitpicking.
You mean, is it the bifurcation that gets you? Oh, we like nitpicking. That's when we run out. Nitpicking shows that you really got a good picture because we can't find anything else to. So Andrew is bugged by the branching. Okay. Okay. Let me. Oh, I'm probably working on the wrong layer. Remove tool. Let's see. Okay, open, sharpen. Wait, it's a 16-bit. Huh, interesting. Try this once more. Okay, open that. Oh. Okay. The tool wasn't working, and that's because it's a DNG format. So let's see. Okay. Yeah, let's see if we bring it up in Camera Raw, but that tool doesn't, oh yeah, we have a tool now, and they keep changing that. Okay, let's go to Camera Raw, and Camera Raw has just added a new thing, a different kind of remove tool, and yet let's use that one. Because we just can't have a branching branch. Let's see. Apply. If we're doing this, you know we've run out of things to do. Won't let me do it. Yes? Where the web comes down to a lower portion, yes. Oh, where the web goes down here. So, okay, so Bob's point is crop up towards the leading edge, towards where the web comes down like that. So you have a web going, interesting. Yes, so now you have those all as a leading line coming from down there. Mm-hmm. Right, sometimes you're caught with that. To which thou? Yeah. Yeah, the bird would then stretch out of proportion. But beautiful capture. I really like that. Like I said, when we get down to nitpicking, you know we've run out of the stuff there. That's right. That's what we're here for. Ooh, beautiful. And you did a lot of, you said you did a lot of generative fill too. Good, so we could see those. Okay, so this is, can we see what you did? Okay. So there's the original. Very good. So what he's done is, this is beautiful. I thought the bird wasn't going to be here. basically is you have a beautiful shot here. Well, Chris, is this yours?
No, it's yours.
Okay, beautiful shot. And what you've done is you've cleaned up little things, like this little branch here. You cleaned up all little tiny things as well. To really now, where everything is, little distracting things. Here it is. To go back to camera raw. Okay. On the image.
The little thumbnail image where you were before. Right there.
Look at it now. Oh, on mask? Okay. Okay. So here in RAW, what you've done is, it's hard to, and let me see what you did on it. What adjustment did you do on?
I don't remember.
It looks like contrast, but it's a subtle one because I don't really see anything when I...
Take a look at curves, maybe.
Let me try the darken one. Okay, here's where you darkened the bottom
Yeah.
on this mask. And you have here Heron with contrast. And that-
Double click on the text. I try to put notes there. On the text of that, double click right now.
Heron light contrast.
Okay.
So it's very, very subtle.
Yeah, so I probably did that in curves.
And actually, because I don't, it's interesting because I don't see any adjustments. The contrast, let's see, curves are, yes, there is a very subtle curves adjustment. Here it is right here. So again, very subtle adjustment there on the curves.
I wanted to brighten it up just
Yeah.
a hair.
Well, it did because when we look at this, this is a picture who you were doing little tiny things to improve it, but basically you were starting with an excellent picture. I mean, you didn't do such really big things on it. You were doing little things to help, but again, this capture, this diagonal, this thing just goes diagonal on the screen. It's sharp edge to edge, and even though his head could have been in shade, but it's really nicely lit. I love it. I wouldn't.
Does a busy background bother you?
The heron is close. Does a busy background bother me? In this case, no, because the heron is so prominent. It is a heron, is it?
Great blue heron, yes.
The bird is so prominent and big in front there that actually puts context. And I didn't even think of the background. I think if this had been a softer background or whatnot, it would have been less of an image. I really like it like this.
To brag a little bit, this is taken while I'm in my canoe, handheld.
I think this is
Yeah.
beautiful. You get to the point that you could.
I'm just so impressed with today's cameras that they allow me to do this.
Yeah, this is beautiful. I wouldn't change. I like the background on this, the exposure, everything is just this is, and the way it's composed. This diagonal is just it's really nice. I wouldn't suggest anything on this. If anyone has any ideas how to screw up Gary's picture, no, I really think you. Yeah, Eric.
No, just grabbing.
Oh, you're just grabbing the mic. Okay, no, so this is really nice capture. Let me. George Kleppes. Okay. Chris, you've got this one.
Yeah, really nice. We've shot there many times, especially with our mentoring group. I love that he got clouds in there. So what
I'm going to look at the metadata. I'm just curious. Yeah, I thought it was a wide. It's a 14 millimeter lens.
Yep.
14.
So I think one thing I would do to it,
2.8,
I
I'll go
just,
back.
that night shot, he's nailed it. I like the exposure. What I would like to do is make this a panorama. because the way he's got the long-lived rock stretched out there.
You mean crop it like a
Take
panorama?
Yeah, take the sky down. Maybe a little off the bottom, but mostly the sky, yeah, make it a panorama, because it just
Okay, you want some off the bottom?
Yeah, a little bit. I just think that really accentuates that long-lived rock, the foreground. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that is, yeah, very interesting. Yeah, and with the 14 millimeter, this is nicely done. It's not easy at nighttime. This is a difficult exposure. Yeah, I can't think of anything. This is, other than, yeah, the crop really, I think, helps this like that. Let me go back and forth. That's, yep. And again, we're limited. This is what comes out of the camera, but there's no reason you can't alter it like that. Very nice. Okay. Let's see. What the heck?
I could give you backstory here a little bit. George is one of our members that's in the 52 frames, and he does these scenarios, and this is based off of what the challenges were for the 52 frames. So he's got a whole series of these going on where he does these skits, reenactments, so to speak.
Reenactments?
Yeah, I can't remember what the challenge. Door. The challenge in this one was door.
Yeah, because this guy's got a gun, and this guy's got the other thing there.
Here,
so-
George is here. He can explain it.
Oh, yeah, you're sitting in the
George
back. We're here scratching our heads. You're sitting in the
George,
back there all the
I didn't
time?
see you there.
Okay, good. You've got the mic, George. Explain this to us.
Well, the point was to make you scratch your head. Like you said, the topic was door, so I wanted to focus on, like, this one isn't so dark. Focus on the door since I darkened it a little bit, but I wanted to focus on the door and then the background just be goofy. Like, you know, you're looking at the door and like then you see the background, like, what the hell is that? So, and that character, I have a mullet wig that I got off of Amazon.
Oh.
So he's like my action character. I've used a few times, and my buddy dressed up like a ninja. So the title of this one was Road Rage.
My gosh. Do you have to be careful who's around you? I mean, if there was a policeman just going by.
Well, this road's closed. 'Cause
Okay.
the
Oh, okay.
Cedar Point Bridge.
Okay,
It's
'cause
been
I was gonna
closed for
say-
like 3 years.
Wow. Yeah, I gotta. Would you, Chris, do you have this one?
No, this is yours.
Okay. Would this, no, I'm looking, no, this is great. Would you, and this is just, I'm just curious to see what's like with a little less of the car there. Let's see. I'm bringing this up to that tree. Because we still see it's the door. You've got the whole door, and you know it's attached to a car. But there's just, and certainly the area of interest up here is tremendous. So I'm just getting rid of some of the things on the side so we've got the door and that. That's the only thing I could, this is interesting. Yeah, very dramatic. And I wouldn't do anything.
I definitely thought it'd be unique in the 52 frames. All the people taking pictures of doors. I don't think anyone would have a ninja fight. So.
No, this is right. This was a, wow, okay. That was a hard one there. That's okay. Gene. Is Gene here? No. Okay. Good. Oh, that's right, sitting right in front. Okay. Chris, you've got this one.
Yeah, it looks like maybe a capture on vacation of some kind of a monument. I kind of like, which I didn't see right away, there's a reflection on that pillar. You see the guy in the reflection?
Oh,
there?
I didn't realize that
Don't
too,
know
the
if that was
reflection right
intentional or
there.
not. I think that's kind of, yeah, it's a little ghost. I'm not sure what it looks like some kind of a memorial. It's kind of well balanced. The rocks on the left balance out with the arborvitae on the right. Obviously, the central cross figure draws our attention. If we wanted to make it a little more dramatic, we could probably bring some, there's a little bit of texture in the sky we could bring out, but I think the composition is good.
Yeah,
It just doesn't have a lot of impact because it's kind of a muted landscape in a way.
what about, I looked at this, and, the area of interest is around here and this. But what bothered me a little is the sky goes around here. This just kind of sits out. And what if we just take, if we bring that over there, let me try bringing up a little. But just, now it's just, I know that's kind of vertical, but rather than have just that bush hanging out there, now it's just kind of, it's framing this, this too. You could bring down a little bit on the rock. You could darken that up a little. Let's see. And just, just darken the rock a little. Yeah, other than that, no, I think it's fine. It's interesting. I don't know what I do differently either. Very good. What's that reflection? The reflection, I don't know where that's coming from.
I think it was somebody standing next to the photographer.
Yeah, because if there was someone, if that was the photographer, or that you'd see the front of them.
But I think that's I think their back was turned maybe towards
Someone
facing
next to the photographer with their
'cause
back.
I think that's polished stone.
Yeah,
I'm
that
sorry.
because that's really.
It is a ghost.
Yeah, I mean that might be part of the story here. I mean that's. It's like those people with no feet.
Better if it's Bigfoot though.
I mean that's the. I'm going to go to this one since we're doing two. Okay. Is this yours, Chris, or mine? Mine? Okay. I love this picture. Japanese type garden. The two people make it here. Without those two people, and the dress and the yellow, I love. What I experimented with this crop is kind of close. I really wanted more room on this. I wanted to see more of the landscape. So on this, what I experimented with is just having a little, I wanted the house a little smaller in all of that. Let's see, where is the generate? Oops. Okay, forgive me there. So I wanted to see a little bit more. I wanted the house a little bit smaller in the frame to give it context of where it was. And this should be a fairly easy area to expand because there's nothing specific there. It's all just greenery. So hopefully it'll. Yeah, and now we see, oops, let me go back to history. There. And and let me see if I just crop off a little of the bottom. Wait. Cancel, let me change that to a regular crop. Okay, if I crop off a little more of the bottom, although I don't know, as I look at that, their reflection is there. And actually yep. So in this, it just is, I was playing with it, it's a little bit more context of this house just standing alone in there. And again, it's a minor change, but I love this picture. I think it was a beautiful capture. I think the two women just made it. Their dress colors and everything just made it. Their reflections, just absolutely beautiful. But here's a case where if you want to, and again, we're just giving you the tools. If you look and you say, okay, that's the way the camera captured it. Let me just get a little, because at the time, again, a landscape, you think, do I want to step back a little? Do I want to zoom out a little? Whatnot? But those two women might have turned then. This might have been the only shot you got. So it's a way to work with that. I don't know. Does anyone have anything else they do or anything?
Well, we were taking their picture.
Yeah.
Because they asked us.
Yeah, and I think that's great. I mean, but everything about this is, from the situation of that to the way they look, I just think this is beautiful. I really do. But I like that, me personally, I like a little more context there, just giving that little more room of the house, just worked. So very nice, very, very, very nice capture. Where was that?
Normore Gardens in Van Buren,
Where's that?
by Mount Vernon, Ohio.
Oh, okay. By Mount Vernon, Ohio. All right. Okay. Joe Miko, you've got this one, Chris.
Yeah, I do. Very nice capture of the butterfly. It looks, I mean, the composition is good. Could maybe take a little off the left, but I don't want to get too picky on cropping. It does look to me like he didn't quite get enough depth of field. The foreground wing looks a little bit soft, which there's really nothing we could do. Yeah, you could see that petal is out. So he had a very shallow depth of field. Probably was at a high shutter speed trying to catch it before it got away from him.
Yeah, the metadata f5 1/800th of a second.
Yeah, so he just needed a little bit smaller aperture to.
Yeah.
Or he could have boosted his ISO. I think his ISO is pretty low, but.
Yeah. I agree. I try to shoot at the highest, aperture here to get more depth of field.
Yeah, I mean, it beautifully blurs the background, but
Yes.
this is where you can go too far with a shallow depth of field.
Yeah, when you're close up, your depth of field could be millimeters.
Right.
And it just, no, but otherwise, I agree with you.
Yeah, the exposure is good.
Yeah.
You've got a beautiful flower, and of course the butterflies just got great color.
And you just crop up.
crop up.
If you don't like that, really,
Yeah, that takes care of the
You
leaf.
could
but-
crop up, but would that be, let's see. Probably if I wanted out, I would use the generative fill and take it out, because I think if the crop, that works, but I'd like some more of the stem. So you could do it either way. On this, you could, in fact, let's just out of curiosity here. And let's see if it recreates the whole stem. Okay, let's see what it does. There. Or that. Or that. But yeah, that takes care of your whole problem. Or you could have taken care of just that one leaf as well. Here's the before. Right, and this is really a minimalist picture now. I mean, that's...
This also
So-
demonstrates in depth of field. The depth of field extends 1/3 back towards the photographer and 2/3 behind. So it looks like he probably was focused pretty closely on the body. The far wing is sharp enough, but it's the one that's closest to us. Your depth of field just doesn't extend as far.
Right, if you were going out there, since you're working with an ISO of 100, you could crank this all the way up to, f16 and whatnot, and you would have enough light to do that. Or you could sharpen the wing with Topaz.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could, right. In Topaz Sharpen AI or the Topaz Suite, you could selectively sharpen certain areas. Right. And then it does an excellent job too. But yeah, this again, just what you're able to do if you want. Very nice. Let's see. Joe's. Okay, that's yours, Chris, or mine?
That's yours.
That's mine? Okay. I see the butterfly, and it's flying back there. I don't know. I was kind of conflicted about this because, you know, if you're going for a minimalist effect, fine. You know, so, but the butterfly was just, you know, things, it's really small here. So really, this just depends on your preference. I mean, as an abstract type image with all blue, you know, I like this out of focus with the green on the bottom. No, and that's really small. I don't know. Let me try just cropping a little bit off to come down a little on this, more like a square crop, and see if that, maybe even like that. That to me, it's, because I see this and the reflection and the butterfly, it makes like a triangle, these three. But that is, see, a little too much space around there gets lost. So I hadn't tried that before. I really like this. And I don't think the butterfly is too small there. Anyone have any other suggestions?
I would probably tone that leaf down a little bit. If you
Tone
can.
that leaf down there?
It's a little bit hot.
Yeah. You tone the leaf down a little. Yeah, so there's lots of little, again, you'd work on this more at home. But I'd like, you know, now that I see this like this, I like this effect because it is just a minimalist kind of thing. I like this out of focus, reflection, and the butterfly there. But I think I needed to get rid of, right, there was just too much space. So again, cropping. I'm really a believer in that. Okay. Yeah. No, Joe's in, I'm sorry, Joe, I think he's in North Carolina or South Carolina. He's one of our distance members. He used to be up here. The which? The scale?
The butterfly looks really small compared to the plant.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it looks artificial? You think it looks artificial? The butterfly looks too small?
That's what I would have asked.
No, I think it's just farther away.
Butterfly further away?
No, we're farther away. If you were standing at the edge of a pond and there was a butterfly, if that butterfly was at the other end of the room here, it would look really that small.
So it's just further away. Plants are
I think the plants are farther away. Plants are probably one of those big water lily type things that are in the distance there. And yeah, but the butterfly is, well, I don't know. Joe, we will, okay, Joe, if you're listening, we want to know how far away the butterfly.
the butterfly just looks amazing. It's really small.
I am not going to free transform it and enlarge that. There are certain things I won't do, but that is, I will not do that. But that is, I've done everything else. I know. I should be the last one talking. That's a quick glance at Joe's third picture. Yeah. Yeah. That one was. And just quick, I'm not going to do anything on this. We're going to get through these. But I would probably remove this stuff in the upper right or crop this down. You know, I really like this. There. That's I would do it as like that and really just kind of get rid of some of that green things there. And yes, I think that's really nice. Okay.
Scale looks fine.
Scale looks fine to you. That's I should have looked on the butterfly one in the metadata to see how far the butterfly was away. It's just, we can make a new butterfly. Let's see. Joe Smith, we're coming to the end. Yeah. Hey, Joe, is Joe here? Joe's there, yeah. Oh, yeah, Joe's sitting right there. Okay, Joe. What do you got? And Chris, is this yours?
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay.
Just real nice feel to it. If anything, the first thing that caught me a little bit is the little merger up in the upper left hand. I'd remove that little guy easy enough. I wouldn't crop it out. I'd use generative fill to remove it because we don't want to. In fact, I'd use generative. I'd get rid of that. Yeah, get rid of that, and then I would add some canvas so that tree's not so close to the edge there. I'd add canvas on the left hand side.
I'm working.
Where is this, Joe?
San Diego, I can't remember the cemetery. It's a national cemetery.
Okay. Those at home, this is in San Diego. It's a national cemetery.
Oh, sorry. San
Yeah.
Diego.
And I like that you didn't try to get us like straight down the middle of the tombstones on the right, that they're off, a little bit off center. So we've got somewhat of a minor diagonal going there, and then a parallel diagonal with the street. Yeah. My mic fell.
Yep, okay, here we go. Okay, so the tree was, let's take a look. So the tree, right, the tree was up against the left side there.
Right.
So in order to give that more room there, let's see, oh, I took it away. Huh, that's odd. Okay. Okay, very odd. We'll go back. Oh, there we go. Okay. So in order to give it a little more room to breathe there. Okay.
I believe the names on those stones up there are clear. What does it do when it generates a new stone?
Oh, when it generates a new stone, they have problems. If there's lettering on it, it doesn't actually, it might look like gibberish sometimes. That's why we were back here. You notice you can't see the lettering on the stones. If this was a sign here, we'd have problems. There are limitations. But it was able to create more stones without any definite writing on them, so we don't notice it as we're looking. If I was trying to generate on this stone on the right here, over, it might be a problem there in terms of its spelling or whatnot, or the letters.
Okay.
Too. So, you are limited, but on the right was an easy way to do it, and it's just more pleasing seeing the whole tree there. So, I agree. I really like this. This is very nicely done. So good. Is there any, since Joe is here, is there any preference you have, one or the other here?
No.
The color one or the black and white one?
Do the color one.
Okay. Color one it is. Okay. And this is, I like this. I think when I looked at this originally, this is really nice, and I like the way the green is there. I'm trying to remember the clouds are beautiful, everything is, but the tree kind of goes up against the top and up against the left. And I was seeing with this what I could do if I gave it a little bit extra. I think I was doing that, an extra to breathe in both ways. And let's see, this might be a more difficult one.
No.
Because there is some greenery there. But I wanted that tree just to be more isolated, or to just breathe a little. So let's see what it's able to do. Okay, do that. That's a little better. And again, it just, I like that. It just stands out a little bit more. Maybe I would come in and I would back off just a little bit of this. Yeah, but very, very nice. Now that I can see the tree. I don't think, this bush, I wish we'd seen a little more of that. That's hard. And I'm not going to, let's see. Just out of pure curiosity to see what the power is. It's, if I try just a little bit, let's see if it confuses it or. We're just seeing what the program's able to do. Okay, here it is. Quite interesting. It planted it and put it in context. And, oops, I think again, if we go back, history. Yep, so it's a beautiful capture. Again, I love the sky, I love the tree, I love the rock in the foreground, everything. So if we're talking, I want a little bit for the tree to breathe, and this seems to be cut off here, then that helps us a little. So it just gives us a little aid. And again, it just is it's a tool. That's all. But I really like the image. Anyone have any? Yes. Yes. Was this a polarizer?
No,
Okay, did you adjust the sky?
I did.
Yeah, so it's been manipulated. Would you have manipulated as much or maybe less? Okay, so you would have manipulated less. I think that's always and again, that's a taste thing. I thought it was more like a polarizer, and it didn't bother me that much. It brings out the clouds. But you're right. This is really, some people would look and think it's overprocessed. And I think you always have to keep in mind, the biggest thing we see is people oversaturate images. You know, you could tell it's been photoshopped, and you don't want that. So on this is purely to taste. I didn't mind that at all. I really liked that, the way it was just dramatic with the clouds. And right, and your point is you wouldn't have done as much there, manipulation. So this is just purely a taste, a taste thing. I mean, a judge would make an arbitrary decision, and we know that's BS. So basically yeah, it just depends on what you like. But I think, again, this is a great capture, the recognition of that. But things that are cut off, that sometimes does get the eye. And this, just the fact that this is kind of coming out of the bottom here is sometimes just so if you could just get that little bit like that, sometimes that's all there is. But again, these are really small points, and these are, I think in all of these, you've all recognized the capture. That's the key thing of just what to get into the picture. So I really like this. I really like it. Yep. Okay, let me. Okay, John has one here. John Paganini. Chris, you've got this?
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out where. It looks like we're at a car show. Okay, I see the car in the background. So we're at a car show. I think this guy's just tooling in to take his spot. I'd be interested to see. I don't like that we cut the back of the car off. I wonder if the General Phil is smart enough to know what to do with the back of the car.
I am totally, guys, this has nothing to do with composition, nothing to do with anything. I am just totally curious if it could recreate the back of this car. My understanding is, in its database, it knows what kind of car this is.
Is that I can't tell. Is it a Buick?
Specifically, so this is, so this has nothing to do with composition. I am purely just curious. what it does to the back of this. Because it is, in its database, probably a ton of, holy. Are we on YouTube? Okay, then I'm not gonna. Oh my gosh, it
That-
gives us 3. What am I gonna say?
Yeah.
It's and look at the people in the background.
Yeah.
If what? If it knew the car, all 3 what? Well, these could be different models.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're right and everything too. My understanding, my really tiny understanding of this is in large learning modules, the way Adobe has set this up with its Firefly project is, the way it explained it is, whereas content aware, Phil, used to look at that area that we just had and say, what would kind of fit here? Whereas the way this new model works is it has 1 million car pictures in its database, and it knows from the front of this car and the grill that this is a such and such whatnot or something, and so it knows basically what to draw. So in that range of that's how it's thinking. It's different than the content-aware Phil. But this is pretty, I have to say, this is pretty amazing because, as you say, in this, we go back, if you were to have to catch this with panning, and as Chris pointed, first thing is, I wish we hadn't cut the back of the car off, and that you can't go back and take it, and the car is obviously moving, then, oops. That's pretty amazing.
Can you generate 3 more selections?
Can I generate? Yes, you could generate 3 more. If you say, I'd like to see some more, you could always just go up to, and on this, variations 1 through 3, you could hit generate again, and it'll generate 3 other variations. Let's see. 1 through 6. So there are that, and that. So yes, you can. So it's a very interesting, very powerful tool because look at this as well. But I interrupted, Chris. You were.
Oh, that was it. It's kind of a storytelling picture. The 2 guys in the background almost look like they're looking at the camera, the photographer, rather than the car coming in. But I can just imagine, he's telling a story with this.
Yep.
He's at a car show, and in tools this car, and everybody's taking note of it.
Yeah. Beautiful. That was. Were you gonna? Oh, is Brian? You asking a? What type of car is I?
I thought it was a Buick. Is that? I tried to look at an
I
Insignia.
don't know. That's not a Maserati symbol, is it? Don't know. Look in the metadata. Okay. Very
Is
interesting.
that electric? It looked like there was an electric port.
I don't know. Ken. Ken's here. Yeah, this is here. We bring up Ken's picture. Very interesting. I love this. I mean, this is one of those I couldn't figure out much to. This is a probably for one of the. Is this B&O Roundhouse? Is that what it is, Ken? Yeah, B&O Roundhouse, but in color. I don't think this would have made a. This is like just a study in black and white in shadows. I mean, and I love the highlights and the shadows here, as well. The fact that it goes off into black. It's just this is one of those rare ones. I couldn't change anything. On the bottom here, maybe I get rid of this little white thing down below, and I just kind of blacken that out. In fact, let's just see. Let me. Just because your eye gets drawn to the white thing at the bottom. So that is really nitpicking. Ken, I think this is beautiful. Like I said, I wouldn't crop anything different. I wouldn't. And I like the way the black and white was done. It's just a study in shapes. You could tell that's the locomotive thing. So. Uh-huh. So there wasn't much light at all in the bays. But then again, if you were able to artificially light this, I don't think it would be the same picture. Right.
Because behind what you see is a shadow, because that's the glare of the
Yep.
There is no light there at all.
Yep. No, I think that's what makes this picture. This is a study in shadows and shapes and everything too, and you could tell it's a locomotive. So I really, I love this. ISO 10,000? That's tremendous because you can't really, looking at this normal size, and especially, noise is going to show up in the darker areas. I don't really see nothing jumped out at me noise-wise, so. Uh-huh. Yes, that's how a lot of the noise reduction, not the noise reduction programs, but those noise thing in camera is they'll take, I think the sky shooters do that. It's because noise is random, so if you take a bunch of pictures and combine them, the randomness cancels each other out in the noise. Let me look at your other one here. Really beautiful. So here's another. So there's a little more light.
This is another dark bay, and above the suspension, there were holes where you look through to the next bay, which is much lighter. I had
This
to
was-
blacken those out.
This was, yep, so this was,
What is in the foreground below the wheels, that light area?
That's a good question. I think I was just, whatever they had on the floor, I darkened that way down.
Yeah, I would try to remove that. It doesn't look like it fits. It doesn't have the geometry and this, it looks like a fire hose almost.
also, would you consider cropping like that? What I did is, on this, the main interest here is the wheel. You have part of a wheel here, you have more of a wheel there, but bringing this in, now I have the same amount of each wheel on the side, and this is in the center. And it just kind of, and that's where the light portion is too. You didn't want to lose
Upper right, those light areas are rivets.
this rivets here, so you didn't want to lose that, but we don't lose the rivets there. Yeah, that's upper right. So you didn't want to lose these? No. So what I did is I cropped left. Yeah, so it brings this in the middle with symmetry of a quarter of this wheel, a quarter of this wheel. The shadows, you've got the rivets up there still. Yes. Yes, that is a problem with when we use the projector for fine things. There is a difference between, like the people at home will be seeing what you see on the monitor, right, but our projector is very harsh. But I really like this, Ken, and this is just a matter of taste here, but yeah, I think these are both excellent studies. They're what? Yep, very good. Make my job hard. I think, okay, we have our last one here. Mick Russo, and we'll bring up two of Mick's here. Okay, Chris, is this yours or mine?
That's yours.
Okay. This is beautiful. I think this was done at one of our nights here, the macro nights. I think this is beautiful. The colors are beautiful. Wouldn't have cropped it any different. The depth of field looks good. I really like that. Sometimes you see a picture where for demonstration purposes, I would like to show something else, but I just think this is really well done. I don't know, Chris, could you think of any?
No, it's just got a lot of color and contrast.
Yeah. Mick, we're sorry. Just got to send in some stuff we could work with. No, this is really nicely done. I really would not have done anything. Let me go on. Let me see if he goofed up on one of the others that we could help. Let me see which one of these. The old, Chris, is yours, which would you rather do, these
Middle one.
barrels?
The middle one,
The middle one?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
yeah. This is a shot from probably, Mick always helps out with our fundamentals class when we go to Stone Garden Farms field trip. I'm pretty sure that this is where that's from. I like that he turned it sepia. It really lends itself to that old-time Western feel. I'm a little troubled by the wheel got cut on the left. I'd either crop it in more and get rid of it, or see.
Well, let's see, let's see, first to crop, since he has a double mat here,
Yeah.
the white and black, let me crop that out. And now let me go to, let's see, because there's also a shadow there.
Just like the cars, it's probably got this particular wagon wheel model in its database.
You can't tell on this. I mean, sometimes it'll help you, sometimes it won't, but let's see. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, there you get the white, you got a little shadow there, but no, that in itself, when I come to, right, and again, I love this shot, but you're right, the wagon wheel, just, your eye kind of, it's a little bit,
In the old days, we just would have cropped off, and we would have been fine cropping more of it off. It's just that it was a tiny little bit cut off.
right, you're right, in the past, we used to crop some, and because that was our only tool. Now we have the ability to add a little if we need to. So it's just another tool in your armamentarium, but yeah, I love this.
If I was going to reshoot this, I would have done a smaller aperture to get those tree branches in focus. But, you know, that's one of those things that, not really anything we can do now. I think it's too far out of focus for AR sharpen to bring it sharp. But
No, one of the things you could do, and again, this is just, last thing, it's the last picture of the night, and I'm just playing, but I'm saying is, you're right, with those out of focus, what if you just,
I'm going to do a remove.
not remove, to that's a big area to remove. The generative does a little better here. And again, I'm just seeing there as well.
Yeah.
And then you could touch up from there. But now you have more study in those shapes. You have barrel, this, the wagon, barrel, and that. It's 4 kind of shapes there. You know, the wood on both sides. You know, you might like it like that. Just, you know, again, tools. Remember, for all those feeling guilty, if you were in a studio, you would go up and you might remove that branch. You'd move it out of the way. When we don't have that, and a painter would not paint it. So it's just another tool in the armamentarium. But that's not saying that this picture is a better one than that. That comes down to taste. Everything here is taste. This is not judgment. I don't know, what do you think, Chris?
No, I like it the way it is now.
The way it is now?
Yep.
You're wrong. The which? Darken this then? Crop down from the top? Okay, let me just make it a, so you're saying take it down a little? Are we getting close to that wagon there? Let's see. That's hard. Yep, and that's fine. Yeah, exactly. The branch fills in that area. Again, these are just tools. It's your vision. It's whatever you like. This is just a way to help get there. So that concludes our, I think we have fun with these. I really want to emphasize these are our opinions. I really like the audience chiming in too, because again, these are not fixed in stone. We hope we give you a few of these, not only just a little advice, but tools as well to work with your images. You know, I really am impressed by the images, and Had a lot of fun. We'll be doing this again. We do this every 4 months now, so we'll be doing it again in January. So, again, thank you all for submitting images, and thank you all for coming. Yeah, that.